Hi, friends, and welcome to the very first episode of Talks with Tiante. I'm so excited that you guys decided to join me on this journey. I cannot describe how grateful I really am. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any episodes this season. This season, we will have a lot coming at you. We'll talk about a lot of various topics, and we'll also even have some special guests on the show. So I want you to stay tuned, share this with a friend, drop a comment, tell me how you feel, and we'll get back to you. All right. So today we're going to be talking about who are you? And that's just simply getting into who you are when no one's looking. What's your integrity like? Do you have respect and honor for others? Where are you going in life? How can we get from where we are to where we're going? Okay. So, firstly, I want to give you guys a little bit of background about who I am, why I'm here, where are we going, girl, where you come from. Okay. So, honestly, I have a background in a lot of various things that I've done over the years, but mostly they have all been people centered or people focused. So currently, I am a human resources specialist. So I deal with people all the time. I more so work in the recruiting talent acquisition specialist side point. So with that being said, in college, I changed my major like 6 times. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was just like, they told me to go to school, but they didn't tell me what to go for. So here I am. And yeah, y'all, when I tell you I was an English major, I was a journalist major. I decided to major in music, which I still love very much so. But I could not be a teacher. Shout out to all my teachers. You do not get paid enough for what you do, but I am extremely grateful for what you do. Um, that wasn't for me. So I was like, you know what? I love people. What would I do if I didn't get paid to do it? And that is help people, talk to people, give people advice, and lead them and transition them from different points of life. So I decided to go with psychology. I did get my bachelor's from Valdosta State University in psychology. Cool, great, amazing. But while I was in undergrad, again, I was doing a lot. So I've always volunteered to do different things that were people focused. So I have volunteered and held job positions in many different industries, such as I've done hospitality, of course, customer service. But some places that I have worked, I have done some volunteer in the school systems, and that's in the elementary, middle, and high schools, whether it was reading to kindergartners or being a paraprofessional or just coming to volunteer with anything that the school might need at that particular moment. I have volunteered with the Boys and Girls Club, mostly as a mentor and or a recreational specialist assistant. So all the recreational time for the kids after school or helping them with their homework and giving them advice in life, things of that nature. I also, as a psychology major, decided to volunteer at the Juvenile Detention Center. I know, right? Crazy. But it was a very real experience, if I must say so myself. But it taught me a lot about people in general. And then of course, graduating from college, I was like, all right, what do I want to do with my life? Where am I going? What am I doing? And I applied for grad school, got accepted, didn't get the graduate assistantship. And I was like, I don't want to take out more loans. And the military was like, yeah, we'll pay your student loans back. So I was like, you know what? Your girl's going to the Navy. So yes, I did enlist in the Navy as an electrical engineer. Crazy, right? I know. I always wanted to do hands-on stuff too because I was into a lot of things back then. I still am. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I decided to enlist as an electrical engineer and it was a wonderful time. But I also did a lot of different things in the Navy as well. Most of my time there was also mentoring and helping people transition, whether that was people being new to the ship life, people being new to military life, or when I transitioned out of the military, helping people transition as well. Um, I also worked as a physical and cybersecurity assistant. And I've also done career counseling in the military. So I've had my hands in a lot of different pots over the years, but overall, the consensus is that I love to help people. I love to help people grow and develop into new beings and achieve all of the things that they really want to do. Another place, lastly, that I volunteered was with the American Red Cross, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with human resources. And I know a lot of people ask about HR and how to get in it, so we'll do a completely different episode about that. All right, so just stay tuned, stay with me. We're going somewhere. All right. Um, so now that we've kind of talked about me, um, we're going to get into talking about you, right? Because that's why you're here anyway. So through self-discovery, you guys can truly start the journey to become a better person, right? We're all on this self actualization or realization journey, trying to be better, trying to grow better for the most part. That's most people, right? Nobody wants to stay stagnant and be who they are currently for the rest of their lives. If you're 20 something, you're not going to be the same person you are when you're 50, 60, 70 years old. At least I hope not, because if you are, that's a tough place to be. All right. Um, but however, to grow into a different person, for some people that may require isolation. For others, it requires a new friend group. So you have to start asking yourself tough questions, gauge your maturity level. Most times you're not really ready for the next level of life or the things that you say you want because you're dishonest with yourself about who you actually are and where you are in life. So you have to ask yourself, um, what are your worst habits? Or ask the people that are closest to you if you really want the truth. Maybe you have an attitude issue, or perhaps you are extremely impulsive. Maybe you shut people out when they give you constructive criticism. So whatever it may be, start asking yourself those reflective questions so that you can become a better person. Change your thinking, change your words, and assess your environment. Those people that are closest to you, you always have to reassess your friend group and make sure that you have the right people for the season that you're in and the place that you're going to. So you have to assess those people and see if you've been behaving differently since you've been around different people, because we know that when we hang around different friend groups, we do different things, we have different things in common, so we tend to sway on one side or the other, whether that's your friends, your family, your spouse. Just assess yourself, and even you're different when you're by yourself. So who are you in those moments, and then find the common denominator, and that's who you truly are at your core. So change really is inevitable, but why won't we just make it a positive change instead of a negative one, or kind of slightly similar change? We have to grow better, and so that's why I'm here. That's why the motto is let's grow better. It's not let me make you grow better. It's let's, which means let us, because I'm growing better, you're growing better, we're growing better together. This is a together journey. So, to help a lot of people, I just came up with a list of questions that I've already asked myself in my journey and to help me become a better person. So, one, you have to start with, who am I? And when we say that, we're not saying, oh, your name, your occupation, where you're from, not that those types of questions of who am I? Who am I as in who am I in my heart? Am I a spiteful woman who will stop at nothing when I'm slightly inconvenienced by your words? Or am I a man who has no drive, no goals, no ambition to accomplish anything? Get to the core of you. Who are you? What are your values? What's your character like? Your beliefs. They all make up who you are when no one's watching. Do you have integrity? Do you have respect for others? Do you honor people or dishonor people? Those are some of the things you have to question in the who am I section. So next, would you want to talk about where am I going? And not just physically and professionally, but also emotionally and mentally. Assess where you were emotionally, mentally over the years, and truthfully answer if you've gotten any better. If you contemplate too long, the chances are you haven't. So you need to ask yourself, where do you want to go, and what person do you want to become? That's what you want to address in the where am I going section. Next, we want to talk about what are my core values and do I live by them? This is an extremely important section because a lot of times we say, oh, our pet peeves are people being dishonest. And honestly, we are dishonest. So you can't have a pet peeve and it be the thing that you're doing. It's very hypocritical. So you want to live by your values and not make other people live by your values. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of where those boundaries come into play too. But boundaries, that's a whole nother episode, but we will get to that. Okay. So some some of the core values that you can have, a lot of people kind of question these, but like some examples could be like this: personal growth and development, such as this podcast, this channel, this platform. Do you value success, punctuality, integrity, peace, sustainability, self-respect, uniqueness? There are lots of different things that you could list as your core value, but you need to sit and think about those things and then separately think about, or simultaneously think about, if you are exemplifying what you say that you are. Because a lot of times we can get in the habit of saying, oh, yeah, I'm an honest person, or I have a lot of integrity, or I'm very disciplined. And the truth is, we are the complete opposite of that. So be honest with yourself in that area. Next, we want to describe and we want to ask ourselves, what are my destructive behaviors? This is some therapeutic type of stuff, y'all. I promise you. You want to ask yourself, do I overeat? Do I overreact? Do I abuse substances? Do I overthink? Am I impulsive? Am I prideful? Am I a people pleaser? Those are behaviors that can be self-destructive. All right. And nextly, what goes in kind of intertwined in that also is the very last question, or the very next question that we want to ask ourselves. What are my bad habits? And habits are a little bit different than your behaviors are what creates the habits. Okay, so I want you to get that understood. So what are my bad habits? Am I an unclean person? Do I live in chaos? Do I like to provoke others? Do I talk too much? Do I not care about others' feelings, thoughts, and beliefs? And when I say this, I'm not particularly referring to just being nonchalant. I'm referring to, or I'm also not referring to the people pleasing habits. I'm referring to your character. Are you a selfish person, and are you only caring about how you feel in every situation versus how other people see the situation in itself? So you have to be uh, a more involved person with other people's emotions and feelings as well. I'm not saying put others people's emotions above your own, but you also shouldn't be insensitive. There's a balance that must happen there. All right. And lastly, what you want to ask yourself is, what side of me do I portray to others? Is it gentle, caring, funny, charismatic, patient, punctual? And how can I do more of these things in my everyday life? Not just for this group of people, or not just when I'm at work, or not just when I'm at church, or not just when I'm with my friend group, but when I'm by myself, or when I'm with people that I really don't know that well. And that's how you get to know people and how you get to put yourself out there. Okay, so if you take, I'm going to tell you something that I did. I took a notebook, and for 14 days, 2 weeks, um I just kind of wrote down all the little things that wasn't appealing to myself about myself on a daily consistent basis. And that's how I reevaluated what I was doing. And this was in every situation, scenario, group of people that I was involved with, whether that was at work, at school, at home, um, at church, with friends, with people in public that I don't know, in certain social settings. I evaluated myself on a 14-day basis, and there were some things that I really did not like about myself. And that's when I had to realize, all right, so if I want to change this particular thing, I'm gonna have to do X, Y, and Z. So I challenge you to take a notebook. You can do it for 14 days. You can do it for 7 days. Or if you really want to know who you are, you should do it for 30 days, because that'll tell you, the longer you do it, the more you will see about yourself. And I'm telling you, at that 7 day mark, it's like, all right, good googly, I really don't like this. But if you go further, again, you'll see more about yourself. But if you'll take the 7 days, take a notebook, write down all the little things that you do that's not appealing daily, you'll see who your true character is. um where those issues lie, that's what you can work on. And I'm sure if you did this, some of your notebooks would look a little bit like this. Oh, I showed up late today. Um, I cussed out Carl in the break room because he was looking at me funny. Because why you looking at me like that? You got a problem? Run up, get done up. All right. So yeah, you need to work on that. Another thing that some of y'all will look like, I told my boss he can go to hell today. Don't care. I caught an attitude with my mama because she asked me a question and did. I yelled at my child because they wouldn't sit down. Because why don't they listen? Sit down. I said sit down. You hard head. You don't listen. Right. I yelled at him. Um, Someone who doesn't want to grow will look at all of those situations and find fault in everybody else except themselves and will never take accountability and responsibility for their own behaviors and actions. So in each of those scenarios, you can find fault in yourself and you can say, all right, I need to do a little bit better. So we'll go back up to these scenarios and we'll say different things that could have been worked out. So if you showed up late for work today, you need to learn punctuality and time management. Be on time because there are other consequences that come behind you being habitually late for work or habitually late for something that you said and that you would dedicate your time to. If you're working on other people's time, that's a whole different situation. All right. You can't be trusted. You have no integrity and nobody wants to work with you if you're always late. So work on that. Now, if you're cussing out people in the break room because they looked at you funny, let's backtrack. You're taking matters personally when in reality, you don't know if they were looking at you or if they were looking past you. How many times have you been in a daze and you were looking past somebody and they thought that you were looking at them weird? And they were like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, oh, I was just daydreaming. My bad. So you can't take things too seriously. So now you've cussed out Carl when in reality, if you would have taken the time to be like, hey, Carl, you all right? And he would have let you know, man, not really. Going through some things at home with my wife, and I was just really thinking about it. But instead, you chose to cuss him out. Now he got an attitude with you, and now y'all not cool. Y'all beefing at work when it should be a place of peace. All right. Don't nobody want to deal with y'all attitudes every day when we come in here and we just try to do our job and go home. Now we got to deal with the both of y'all in this meeting and y'all staring at each other and catching attitudes across the table. Let's not do that, okay? Thanks. Nextly, you told your boss to go to hell. Okay. Let's address firstly, you're disrespectful. You're disrespectful to authority and you have an authority issue. But being disrespectful won't get you where you want to be at work. And even if you decide to leave the job, you go to the next one and take that same disrespect to the next place. And you will continue to hop around to different places being disrespectful to people in authority, and it will never get you anywhere. And then you will probably say, well, I don't want to be anybody's employee. I want my own business. Guess what? You're going to have your own business and you're going to have people who are under you. And when they disrespect you, when they are disrespectful to you, you see how you feel about it. I'm pretty sure you won't like that, but that's just your karma coming back to you, whatever you want to call it. Reap what you sow, sow what you reap. Karma, what goes around comes around. The universe will give you what you want or what you've given to the universe, whatever you will call it, it'll happen. So you need to put yourself in check. All right. Um, Now if you caught an attitude with your mama because she asked you a question, that's misplaced anger and it needs to be addressed, or you'll continue to do this to other people and never build positive relationships. No one wants to be around somebody who always has attitude, who gets upset at the slightest inconvenience all the time. Nobody wants it. I know I don't. Okay. Yelled at my child because they wouldn't sit down. I understand as a parent. I'm a parent. I get it. Kids, especially young ones, they're all over the place. That's a part of childhood. That's what they do. 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna sit down. So you have to learn a new normal on how to talk to your children. And we're in this age where a lot of us are trying to gentle parent to our children. And it's hard, y'all. It is hard, okay? But handling your anger and the ways that you display it is an art that must be learned, okay? Teaching children early um through this scenario is that you're telling them that if someone doesn't do what you want, just yell at them. It's okay. Just yell at them. So when they get older, guess what they're doing? They're yelling at people because they didn't get their way and because they're angry. Unproductive citizens. We have them everywhere. All right. How many times have we dealt with someone who doesn't know how to deal with their anger, who doesn't know how to talk politely to people? That's not what we want. All right. So you have to look at yourself and reevaluate yourself and reassess yourself in these situations and ask yourself, how could I have handled that better? Right. In the end, we all have our own issues that we need to work on, but it starts with figuring out who we truly are at our core and where the issues lie. A lot of us are now dealing with childhood traumas and we're bringing them to surface like, oh, this is why I am the way that I am. And you have to work on that. And yes, you can call out to your higher being, whatever you want, the universe, God, whoever you believe in, but you also need to go to therapy. Talk to somebody. Now, I'm not talking about your friends. What about your friends? Hey, yeah, you could talk to your friends, but at the end of the day, I need somebody who is licensed, who knows how to deal with these types of situations, who can help me move through the past and get to where I need to be or where I want to be. All right. All right, y'all. Thank you for sticking with me. The next segment that we're going to go into is my favorite. It's just random facts. Okay. Your girl loves random facts. I love a good random fact because you just never know when it's going to come up in conversation. And sometimes people ask me, like, oh, what's the most useful thing that you know? And most times it's a random fact that I did not learn in school, that I probably learned it at YouTube University or on TikTok these days because people, you can find out some crazy things when you watch some of these videos, right? I know y'all with me. So anyway, I'm gonna give you my top five for today of things that kind of had me thinking a little bit over like the last 2 months or so. So number one, I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't know why this blew my mind, but a shrimp's heart is in its head. But why? I don't understand why. God made it that way. Okay, it's weird, but that's where it is. Um, Next, number two, there are 293 ways to make change for $1. Did you know that? You can go ahead and count them. It's cool. Get back to me about that. Number three, Maine is the only one syllable state in the United States. Yeah, you can go through them in your head. Get back to me about that. All right. Number four, and this one had me scratching my skull for like 5 minutes because I don't understand. Almonds are a member of the peach family. Why? Dear God, why? I just want to know why. I just want to talk. I got questions. All right, number five. A shark is the only known fish that can blink with both eyes. Y'all, I don't know why I like random facts like this, but I just do. I just do. Okay. Don't talk about me too bad. All right. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. A famous family therapist once said that touch is essential and there is no replacement for it. Therefore, we need 4 hugs a day for survival, 8 for maintenance, and 12 for growth. So, increase your happiness and go get you some hugs. All right. Now, don't be out here hugging strangers because that's weird. Very weird behavior, and you might get locked up. Okay. Or fought or shot. So, just be careful. Okay. Thanks. Um, but guys, thank you for sticking with me through this episode. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and leave a comment and share with a friend, share on your social media platforms. And you can follow me on every social media platform there is. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye, friends.